Right, now we come to what we're all here for this evening for, and that's Wayne's induction. And in order to have the induction done officially, can I please call Eugene Lewis, Johnny Berger, Rob Collins, Raul de Lima, obviously Ricky and Jordan Taylor, Mrs. Taylor, and Paul Wooten Hood. Thank you.
There we go. Ladies, Wayne, you can just stand there. I'll pull you. It's the remarkable moment that we're going to witness now is going to live on for hundreds and hundreds of years to come. And we might not fathom it, and we might not fully understand it. But what's happening tonight will bring a message of hope to future Hall of Famers. And on that note, we now officially induct Wayne Taylor into the South African Hall of Fame. All right, then let's call Wayne. That's all yours.
Well, I'm just looking at Graham Duxbury's notes here, and he talked about my shoes. But did anybody see his bathing suit today? Because if you've seen his short pants, it was nothing more than embarrassing. Sorry. Anyway, this is something really, really special for me. I've spoken at a lot of events, and they've always been around a race weekend and representing sponsors and teams and so on. But to be recognized into this Hall of Fame is quite overwhelming, and I'm honored to be here, and especially to be surrounded by my family and friends. And that's probably what's made it even more difficult, because every one of them are looking at me in the eye, and I'm too scared to look at them. But, you know, my story really started here in South Africa. While I live in America, you know, my roots are here in this country. And my dad used to take me to the South African Grand Prix circuit in East London. And when I think I was 4 or 5 years old, all I ever wanted to do was to be a racing driver. And there was nothing else in my life. And then I wanted to become Sterling Moss. Probably there are young people here that don't even know who he was. But what made a 360 circle was that a couple of years ago I was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Sebring, and I was walking down the pit lane, and I looked up on the wall and there was a Hall of Fame picture, and there was Sterling Moss's name and mine. And I thought, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted to do. But the responsibility of driving, which, you know, having watched this, has left me. I don't have the passion or anything to drive race cars anymore. And I always remember as a kid that I didn't want to do anything else but race cars, at whatever the cost was. And I must say that my foundation was great. Unfortunately, my dad's not here tonight because I lost him 3 years ago. But my mom's here, and they supported me more than anybody. And when people talk about being supported, most people today talk about financially supporting. This was not the case. This was my mom and Dad trying to give me everything that I could have. And I've never forgotten a day at Killarney in Cape Town where I was racing Formula Fords, and Ian Schechter was in a Formula Atlantic car, and my car broke. And my mom walked up to me and she put her arm around me and she said to me, "Babe, we'll sell a house if you want, and we'll sell a house and you can buy a car." And I said, "No, Mom, but now I know where I have to be." And I had to achieve what I wanted. And it was all about living a dream. And the rock behind me, as Graham has said, is my wife Shelley. Because I can tell you, there's no way I would be here today without her. Sometimes she pisses me off, but she is nothing but the most supportive wife, promoter, PR, whatever it is, and she's been incredible. So this story of mine travels back to the South African Grand Prix, and I wanted to be Sterling Moss, as I've just told you. But my message to anybody, to young South Africans, and I believe this really seriously, and that is that you can't buy credibility, you have to earn it. You have to have a vision, a passion, and you've got to be prepared to work. And while I was living this dream, trust me, and I think Rob would stand behind me and say the same thing, that was, while it is still living a dream, there were many, many nightmares. And those nightmares were bad. And when I left the country, I didn't leave the country because I was leaving the country and I didn't have any respect for this country. It was the fact that I couldn't go on any further than winning the South African Drivers' Championship. And most drivers wanted to be in Formula One, which is what this country understands more than anything. But for me, at 39 years old, I hadn't earned a penny out of racing, and so there was no turning back. So I went to America to do 3 races, and I remember thinking, you know, nobody recognizes racing in America like they recognize Europe. And I got to America and I suddenly saw competitive racing more so than anywhere in the world, and decided at that point I wanted to be there. But that came to an end fairly quickly because we had run out of sponsorship, and Shelley and I, and Ricky was born. And, excuse me, we came back to live in South Africa and had clearly no idea what we were going to do. And I got a call from one of the smaller teams and offered me a drive. And there was only 10 races that year. And I literally packed everything up and left. And Shelley went to Australia with Ricky while I was sorting out things in America. And we couldn't afford a house, we couldn't afford anything, so we rented an apartment, we rented furniture. And to be successful, one of the most important things is surround yourself with good people. And all those good people that have supported me and helped me over my career are all sitting in this room tonight. And there's one person in the room tonight that worked on my car 33 years ago when I won the South African Championship. I have not seen for 33 years. And Shelley found him. And he is here tonight, Rob and Alan. And I don't really want to mention any more names because I'm going to leave people out. But all of you out there sitting there tonight know who you are. Sorry. When I got to America, we thought that we were made, and we had this 2-year contract. And the team owner, Jim Miller, who was a really highly respected businessman, and in the second year said to me, "Listen, we're going to sign the contract with you, and the money is going to be paid. But Wayne, at the end of '91, you will not have a drive." and I was a little shocked at the time. But the word was that GM was going to hire Tommy Kendall, and that they needed a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Californian. They didn't need a brown-eyed, brown-haired South African, which I believe was the story. But what it did for me then was I listened to Roger Penske and listened to the speeches he made. And he said the common thread to the success of his business was racing. And that was my opening to understand how to keep racing. Because if you think about how many racing drivers turn into team owners, to the best of my knowledge, there's been not many that have lasted more than 2 years. And my partner Max, not only was he my teammate, and by the way, worst team I've ever had, but he's also my partner in this. He doesn't do much. He smiles and he does all the right things for everybody. But it really taught me, it was really a lesson. And I wanted to be like Roger Penske and Chip Ganassi, and wanted to build something that companies could understand that this is where we build business. And so to all South Africans, if you're thinking about racing, and forget Formula One, because there's really no way that you're going to get there, because it's a selected few that are backed by massive organizations. And so to succeed or to live a dream like me and race, you have to be able to build a team and build partners. And I've been fortunate to build partnerships like I have with General Motors, as you saw tonight, and Konica Minolta. These people have been behind me 100%. My racing team consists of 25 people out of Indianapolis. I live in Orlando, and I was always told you cannot be successful as an absentee owner. But I built a team that has become a family, and I wouldn't stop racing even if both my kids have gone somewhere else, because we are a family. But I also want to say something about Ricky and Jordan. And this is true, and I know they're waiting for something I'm going to say that's going to embarrass them, but I won't. But the two of them, I've been around sports car racing for many, many years, and I've never seen two drivers in the same car working with each other to make the results a first place. Whereas most drivers in sports car racing or in Formula One or any other series want to always prove that they're the fastest driver. Where I've got two kids that I could challenge anybody in the world by having them on our team. But when Ricky was offered the drive with Roger Penske, even our teammate then, Ryan Hunter Ray, who's Indy 500, said to Ricky, I tried my entire career to drive for Roger Penske. You need to take this. And he left, and he's now with Penske, and I'm left with Jordan, which is great. But Jordan is really hard on me. You know, he's very difficult, but he's really good, and I'm happy that I still have one of my sons. And to the Hall of Fame, to Johnny, Rob, Sanye, and all your crew, to have done this and made this happen for me is really, really big. And I would like to finish by saying two quotes from Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. And he also said, a winner is a dreamer who never gives up. And that's who we are. And all I can say about Mr. Mandela is that I am so sorry that I didn't spend more time trying to figure out a way to meet him, because truly he is my biggest hero. To my mom, family, everybody, again, to my kids and to Shelly, I could never have done any of this without you guys.